Welcome to Do the Talk podcast. This is your real estate podcast where we teach the regular people how to invest in real estate. So if you're looking to invest in real estate, you have come to the right place. Keep in mind, like we always said every week in, week out, this is not by no means a get rich quick scheme. You have to put in the work, then it's going to work for you. Ibrahim, it's another day, it's another week. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's kind of rough today, kind of busy, but we are committed.
Yeah.
Every Friday we have to show up and provide, valuable education for our audience. And we want to appreciate you guys for always, looking into our YouTube channel. It is very educational. It's really real estate and everything real estate. So after real estate, it's still real estate
Yeah.
because we love what we do and we are passionate about it.
Yeah.
As you can see, Asia Property is right there. You
Yeah.
can see on this t-shirt, and this is IB Realtors.
Yeah.
We want to let you guys know that yes, we do what we say. You can see it, in our appearance, how we passionately come here every time to educate you guys. So we are very happy to be here today. Ahmed, today we have a very interesting topic
Yeah.
because it is one of the topic that some people before used to be hard, like oh location, but now it's gradually going down just because the way things are right now. Everybody wants to look for a cheap property, a
Yeah.
very just want to get something, but at the same time, the rule is still the same.
Yeah.
It's very important because everyone need to know it's not just buying asset.
Yeah.
You have to buy the asset right from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the topic. I know everyone is trying to wait and listen to the main topic today is how important is location when you are trying to invest in real estate. The importance of location. Ahmed, I would like you to start us on this topic because it's very crucial. How important it is for you to look for a good, suitable location before you jump into your real estate investment.
Well, it is very, very crucial. And there is a single saying in real estate that says location, location, location.
Yes,
Location is everything.
yes,
You cannot invest in real estate without learning about your location. So I'm going to start from the top and kind of work my way down.
yes,
So when we're talking about location, it's involved in this is from me, right? It's involved the state,
yes.
the city, and the local, right?
Definitely.
Now, where the state comes in is we all know in some states they have a very tenant friendly laws
Okay.
whereby if you are a landlord or a property owner, investment property owner in those kind of states, it's really difficult when your tenant is not doing what they are supposed to do, which is pretty much following the contract or the lease that both of you have. That is where looking into tenants, landlord friendly states before you invest. Majority of the red states are this, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say red or blue because this is a political time. I don't want to get caught up in that.
Yeah.
But just know that when you are trying to invest, the very first thing is make sure the state you are investing in, they are landlord or property owner friendly policy.
That's
The
good.
next thing is the city. The city, now, this is very, very big. You need to make sure you look at the property tax and the insurance in that city. Why do I say this? Is because if you invest in a city like um, Houston, Dallas, where the property tax itself, it's like a mortgage in Indianapolis,
Wow.
and this is monthly payment. So people own property there, but know that that is going to be hitting into your cash flow
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
it's going to reduce or maybe even put you in the negative if you are not being careful enough.
Yes.
So that is very big. And insurance in the states like Florida,
Oh.
where there's a lot of,
Natural disaster.
natural disasters, things like that, you need to be careful of. That is one. The second thing is migration and population.
Oh.
if your investment is definitely need people that will live in there and be paying you rent. So the city policy needs to be attracting companies, attracting people
Yeah.
inbound, not outbound.
Mhm.
We all know in this city of New York right now, people are moving away. State of New York generally, people are moving away from there. California, the same thing. Chicago, the same thing. But places like Indianapolis, that is why I will always tell people that we don't know the value of the city we live in just because we
Yeah.
just naturally find ourselves in there. People are moving in Indianapolis, but the population is growing, the city is expanding.
Yes.
City like that, that is where you want to invest in, and they have jobs, because these are the things that we keep the people that are there right now and
Yes.
attract other people to come in. So this is another reason why location is very, very big. You have to make sure you pay attention to it. Now, coming into locality, which is where we see HOA and other things like that, things that actually attract. What are the attraction around your location? If you say, because Indianapolis is good and you go into an area where there's little to no attraction, companies are not close by, people have to drive 40-30 minutes to get to work, it's going to be harder to find a good tenant compared to, because everybody wants to live closer to their job.
Yeah.
So this is another reason why locality is very, very
Important.
crucial. So I have talked about what you need to look for in state level, city level. Of course, there are more things to look for. These are just overview of things. You want to also make sure the rent, is it greater than the inflation in that city. So these are the things that we all invest because we want to be ahead of inflation.
Yeah.
So if rent in that area is lower than inflation, or the rent growth in that area is lower than inflation, that is not a good place to invest. So there are multiple things we need to look at, and city, locality. So coming to you, Ibrahim. So I just explained, the layer of location. I want us to focus more in a very box area right now, which is like the neighborhood.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, can you explain to us the type of neighborhood that people should be investing in and where they should be expecting to have the highest of the return?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. So this is a very huge topic and very important. And it is hard for an individual to tell someone that this is where you have to invest. I think it really depends on what kind of strategy you are going for. So, what I mean by that is if you are trying to invest in a low income housing and you just want cash flow and you don't mind little or no appreciation, then definitely you can look into um, D class, C class properties, and you'll still be fine. Okay, you get some cash flow, you get the equity might be little or very scanty equity, but you are getting your money constantly because there are a lot of strategy you can do even on the C and D. One of them I met spoke about it last week, which is I think last week or yeah, which is Section 8. Okay, we've done that before, but we don't mind repeating that in another episode. So keep watching, do the talk. Okay, so Section 8, you can do that in C or D neighborhood and you still be fine. Okay. And you're getting your cash flow. Of course, he already debunked the myth that Section 8 is bad tenant, this, that. It can be if you don't know how to do your assignment. But for the most part, look for a good property manager. Just like is your property, they'll screen them out and they'll give you good, tenant from the Section 8. Okay. They'll tell you all the rules and all the do's and don'ts so you can scale up with Section 8. So back to the topic. If you can do if you are just focusing on cash flow just because you have limited cash to invest and all you are looking for right now is cash flow to scale up, you can do C or D. Now, for some people, they want cash flow and they want equity. Okay. So when you look at that, most likely you have to consider C and B. Okay. C and B neighborhoods, you get cash flow, you get equity. You may get more cash flow on C, and get less on B. However, you get more equity on B than C. Okay. Now, let's say you are very well established. You don't need that huge cash flow, but you want equity because I mean, some topic back that we have done, we've talked about how equity is the most important piece of real estate investment
Yeah.
because that will make you wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay, cash flow will make you rich, but equity will make you wealthy
Yeah.
faster
Yeah.
than just focusing on cash flow.
Yeah.
We want the two because when you have the two, it creates stability. Okay, but I'm just trying to let you know that equity is a big game. Is when you get to that level, you focus on equity. But right now, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it is a good strategy to go for cash flow first, get yourself stabilized, then you can focus on equity and or with cash flow. Then that decision will be for you to pick or to decide on. Now, what I'm saying is BNC will get you equity and some cash flow. Okay. So depending on how would you want it. Now, the final one that is all about equity is A. Because most of the time, A neighborhood or some B neighborhood that is kind of bougie, you barely get cash flow.
Yeah.
However, the equity is almost guaranteed because that neighborhood is very beautiful. Everyone wants to live there. However, the rent may be too high for the majority of the people. So in most cases, you get a lot of vacancy just because when they move in there, most of the time they won't stay long just because that individual who is paying that rent, that money, it's equivalent to what he or she can pay for a mortgage. Okay. So in most cases, those people stay there temporarily and they move out after 6 or 1 year or the max, maybe 2 years, they'll move out and go get their property.
Yeah.
Now, is that a good investment? For you, if you care about equity, it's still a good investment because you're not really focusing on the rent. So if they move out, as long as you have a lot of reserve to pay your mortgage,
Yeah.
you will still be fine. Imagine, someone stay there for 2 years or 3 years, you refinance, you cash out the money because such a neighborhood, you get a lot of equity every year. Okay. So which one do you need to focus on? Like I said, it depends on your strategy, but I will tell you if you are a new investor, cash flow is very important. You don't want to start with equity. If you have equity, great, but focus on cash flow first. Make sure cash flow is really surpassing the inflation of that neighborhood, that city, and that country. By the way, we're talking about the US right here.
Yeah.
So make sure the inflation is not overweighing your cash flow. You want to make sure your cash flow is very significant where after you're paying your debt and everything, you have a decent amount of money every month. You are able to save those money and that money after 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can use that as a down payment to get another property.
Yeah.
Okay. So cash flow will make you scale up faster. Okay, if you do it right. It will make you scale up faster. What are the things you have to look for to even to be able to identify that this area is for cash flow, this area is for equity, or is for both? Okay. You see, there are some areas, it's nice, it's beautiful, but it's old. Okay. It's old in the sense that the architectures, the houses in that area, it's an old neighborhood. They've developed a long time ago. Okay. The city is still catching up with it. Is there's still some old houses here and there, and you know the tax rate in that area. You can go online and check the tax or the city auditor office. You can look at the tax amount in that area. It's probably gonna be low for DC neighborhood. The tax is gonna be lower, I should say, than C, B, and or A. Okay, so in those neighborhood, it doesn't mean because it's C or B doesn't mean it's wrecked or it's died. It's dead, really. I should say it doesn't mean it's dead. But what is gonna the big significant difference you see is that in that neighborhood there won't be too many uh, you know investment coming in. There won't be, because it's already established. The land, they don't have any land to even bring new investment.
Yeah.
Okay. You might see the stores around. It might be like little shops, little stores, just because, like I said, there's no more land for these national builders, national investors to come in and build a big factory and all that. In most cases, there's no land for that. So you see everything will be hold and just there. In those areas there are still good ones that you can go and leverage and make sure you get your cash flow. Okay. Of course, C and D are the area that you can also, if you go to the wrong side of it, it's bad just because there's economic hardship and the area may be rough and all that. Okay. um if you look for the good one, B, D, and C is a good way to get started and get your cash flow. C also, you can get some C neighborhood that is still decent. It's gonna be nice, and you can still get some equity there, so you can invest there if you want. And all this D, C, and
A
yeah,
B.
A. No, I was gonna say E, D, C, or D, C. D and C are really good for long-term lease, and or you can do Section 8, and you can do like some of like middle-term leasing if it's in a good side of the town, close to the hospital or close to like a big offices and all that. You can still use it for that. So C and B can be good for short term, mid term, and sometimes even you can do Section 8 there if that area, the property is not too expensive. Okay. Hey, most of the time you can do regular leasing, but the cash flow is not there. That's the fact, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
But you can choose to do mid term or short term in that area if the covenant of that neighborhood permits something like that. Okay. So where am I getting to? I'm trying to tell you that it's not, there's no a particular place that you can say, okay, this is where I want to invest. It really depends on what you are trying to do, what you are trying to achieve. But in my opinion, if you want to scale up fast and you have limited or no cash right now, I want you to focus on cash flow first. Go to those neighborhoods that are C, D neighborhood, okay, that is still lively. What do I mean by lively? You look around, you still see Starbucks. Okay, you walk some miles, 5 to maybe the max like 5 or 7 miles, you see Walmart. Okay, you look at some, your left side, you still see some, mini restaurant. It means people are still living there. The economy is still decent in that area. Okay, you can do that. C and D, as long as you still have those businesses, those corporate businesses there, here and there, it's gonna be decent. Make sure people are not moving out. I may mention that, because if you get into an area you want to do business, however people are moving out, it's like counterproductive, because you go in when they are moving out. It doesn't make sense. You want to go in when the economy activity is still sustainable.
Yeah.
Regardless of Section 8 or whatever plan you want to do, you want to make sure people are still willing to stay there, even though it might not be the best in the city. However, people are still loving that area. So those are the kind of things you have to look out for. But if you want to, if you're already established, you just need cash, you need cash flow and equity, you can try C and B. If you just you don't care about cash flow, which I don't recommend, honestly. I don't recommend people just go straight to A. I want you to be in C, like D, C, or B, because I still want that cash flow, regardless how much it is. Even $100, $200, $300 is something. I don't believe in just one equity and go to A neighborhood. I mean, it might sound like I'm too, maybe I should say too aggressive, or because um I don't see what the millionaires or billionaires are looking at. For me personally, I don't really like going to that A neighborhood. I still want some cash flow, even if it's $100. It's something. Okay.
Yeah.
So personally, I would recommend, if you cannot do D, C, go to B. A, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. So, well, like you said, you already go like dismantle the principle, which is the basics.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want, really.
Yeah.
So, C and B, that is where you can get the most cash flow. You can get cash flow in D, but the headache, do you want the headache that comes with it? That is the question you need to ask yourself. If you are starting up and that is what you can afford, please go for it. Because even if it is in D neighborhood right now, you buy it, at some point you will be able to sell it and move into something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is in within your the class that you want. So if that is what you can afford right now, go for it. But get your mindset right. Be prepared for what might come, because these are some old neighborhoods that the house has been built 150 years ago. So things are going to be wearing out, and you will need to be making some repairs often that you will do in A and B. However, if you want that cash flow and appreciation, you want to stay B plus, B minus.
Yeah.
C is majorly cash flow. Appreciation, B and A. I want to say A does have its own advantage as well.
Yeah.
So I have a client that is a medical doctor, and he just buy properties just to offset his tax.
Mhm.
He doesn't necessarily care about the cash flow.
Mhm.
He's making a whole lot of money already.
Mhm.
But if he doesn't invest and buy assets, he's going to be paying not just assets, he's buying real estate. He's going to be paying a lot of money in taxes.
Mhm.
So people like that just want some vehicle to store the money they are making,
Yeah.
such that they will not be paying huge taxes. So I went on the website of Indy yesterday with a doctor to look at a property. He just messaged me right now. So what did he told me yesterday? He said we pay a lot of taxes last year,
Yeah. Mhm.
and we don't want such this year again. So we need to buy property
Mhm.
in order to be able to offset the taxes that we are paying.
Yeah.
Think about it. Do you want to give the government your money, or you want to buy an asset with that same money
And create
and
more wealth.
create more wealth for you and offset that taxes? It,
Yeah.
it makes logical sense, right? So people like that might go into a neighborhood because they don't really necessarily need the cash flow. So A, B, C, D does come with its own advantage depending on where you are, your strategy, and where you are going. Another thing that I want to mention is Section 8 also you can do it in B neighborhood and A neighborhood.
Good.
So there's this lady I'm working with right now, and they qualify her to have like 1,860 something. But because the house she wants to rent, the rent in that area is around 1,300, so they have to cut the money down. But if he had found a house in B neighborhood and the rent is a little higher, they will give her the maximum amount of money.
Mhm.
So they just want to make sure they are not overpaying for the
Okay.
house in that.
Okay.
So if the house in B neighborhood is within the range of the family that want to get it, they will get. And just like you already mentioned, Section 8 are not bad people.
Mhm. Yeah.
They are by no means bad people. You just have to do your due diligence. It is not the job of the government to investigate and
Yeah.
check their background for you.
Mhm.
It is your job. So
Yeah.
you just need to make sure you do your due diligence. So Ibrahim, we discuss you know uh property type in A, B, C, D group. I know some of our audience might be like, what do you guys mean by property in A,
Mhm.
B, and C zone? uh, can you just brief explanation of what those are? Because I know some people are just joining us; they haven't been watching our podcast in the past.
Mhm. So zoning, it's just a way to be able to categorize the lifestyle and the economy activity in each area, like, or each neighborhood.
Yeah.
So briefly, so the A neighborhood are neighborhood where the property, it doesn't have to be brand new. However, the economy in that area is very thriving. Like, there are a lot of stores, like a restaurant, there are Walmart everywhere, Sam's Club, all this big corporation business. And in that area, the school zone is top notch. the
amenities.
amenities in that area. They have so many fantastic and interesting things around. Like when you drive from block A to block B, you'll see something, eye catching. There's trees everywhere. There's, something like you might have like parks, amenities and something interesting everywhere. And also, the most important thing is that in a neighborhood, everywhere there's very continuous upkeeping. Things will gonna it's gonna look neat and very attractive in that area. So B and C, um sometimes it's hard to know this is B or C, because there are some C neighborhood where the property are not necessarily huge and expensive. However, they are just that city is keeping up,
Yeah.
or that neighborhood is keeping up very well, where everyone look nice and neat. Um, and so as B neighborhood is like the second step to A neighborhood, where the neighborhood is still, there'll be very big houses there. The economy activity is nice, though people that live there, their income is kind of lower to people that live in A. I'm
Okay.
talking about in general,
Yeah.
because of course you can choose to live anywhere. You
Anyway, yep.
can have money for A and live in C. It's
Yep.
up to you. But when you look at the population, you look at the average income in that area, B average income is typically lower than the one in A. Okay. Now, the variables are the ones that choose to live wherever they want.
Yeah.
Okay. So the C neighborhood, simply similar to B, the houses may be kind of smaller, or if you find big houses, it won't be the ratio of the big to small, it won't be as huge as the one in B or
Yeah.
A.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The area may be a little old, and there might be some minor upkeep, or in some C area it might be not there might not be a good upkeep, it might be dirty and all that, but at least you still see some economy activity going around it. Most of the time, what I forgot to mention, in a neighborhood, you don't see too much of like, tire shop everywhere open and mechanic open. They like to, those stuff are there, but they like it to be indoor. Like it will be like a registered company where everything is, uh, you know, exclusively, where you have to go inside and it's not just everywhere and
Yeah.
filthy and all that. So those are the A. And the B, some of the B too is like that. If you want to open your store, they will tell you, the city will actually regulate it, that they don't want to see anything outside or too much of vehicle in front
Yeah.
of your store and all that. So those are part of the regulations to keep those area, the standard, okay, to maintain the standard. So C neighborhood is like an average neighborhood. C is where you can still see those, you can see beautiful houses, nice, aesthetics and all that. But in that area, you might see tire shop, open and everybody doing their thing.
Yeah.
And it might not necessarily be the beautiful area, but there will be not too much crime, it will still be decent and all that. But D is where in typically, there's crime, there's but that doesn't mean all area with D is bad. Okay, that's not my point. But what I'm saying is that you see more of like
Yeah.
people
More crime
struggling,
rates.
trying to keep up with life, more crime rates, more you see the area maybe in typically D area is kind of dirty, it won't be everywhere. Of course, you have to pick your investment in the right side of the D area. Okay, but in general, D will be more dirty. The income there might be lower, and you might see people hanging around in the street and in front of their houses, just because majority, or maybe say some people, do not have job, just because of they couldn't, or for some reason you see a lot of people around in the neighborhood. um, However, with all this, you can still invest in any of those classes. You just have to look for the best part of each class, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's A class doesn't mean you have to go there. If there's high equity but no cash flow, you are negative all the time, and you don't have reserve, it is a bad investment.
Yeah.
Even though it's A, it is a bad investment.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure your investment, it does make sense mathematically, and it follows the rule of business, because with the rule of business, you cannot be losing money and living in potential for equity. Okay, because I'll call it potential, because if there's economic crash,
Then
even though
potential is gone.
even A will go down. Look
Yeah.
at 2008.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's A, D, C, or A,
Yeah.
everything will crash.
Yeah.
So that's potential. People that live in potential most of the time are people that already have
Yeah.
enormous amount of.
Thank you, Ibrahim. So
Thank you.
our time is running up,
Mhm.
and if people want to reach out to IB Realtors, you buy property for many people. You
Yes.
help people to sell property
Yes.
to make higher return. It's a different thing to just give your house to regular brokerage and
Yeah.
sell your house at the minimum they can get for you,
Yeah.
but you do it diligently,
Yeah.
intelligently, and without violating any of their rights. Give your honest opinion, even if that is not what they want,
Mhm.
but this is what is good for them. You always provide that services. If people want to read, because you are one in a million, I'm going to say that.
Thank you.
If people actually want to
Thank you.
reach out to you, and you, so that you can help them to sell their house or to buy their dream home, how can people reach out to you?
Yes, thank you, thank you. So go to ibrotors.us. That's my website, and that's where you can see, properties, and also our contact is there. Email, phone number. However you want to reach us. Even our social media links is there. Just go there, click on it. Or if you prefer to just make a call 317-728-0213. The phone is gonna come to me directly, and I'll talk to you, and I'll make sure you get your. I'll help you secure your dream home in no time. Okay. So after you have secured your dream home,
Yeah.
or you have secured your investment property, you might not have time to monitor your property, or to maintain your property, to manage your property. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still invest in real estate. In fact, you want to invest in real estate even if you don't have idea, because there are people that will help you with more cash flow, help you to get more cash flow, help you take the burden, because I know you are busy, and you are busy, the burden of management. You don't want anybody calling you late night or this or that to do this. There are people that specialize in that. They know what they're doing. So personally, I want to recommend Azio Property. Okay. So if you want to reach out to Azio Property, it's very easy, but I'll let Azio Property property manager to talk to you guys, and how your friend, your family, your co-worker can reach out to them, so they can help them manage and maintain their property, and most importantly, help them get more cash flow for their investment. How
Absolutely.
can they reach
Thank
out?
you, Ibrahim. That
Thank you.
you flattered me, but yeah. So if you want to reach out to Ace Your Property for your property management need, you want to buy investment property, you're looking for off-market deals, we can help you with that. We can help you with the crew that will renovate the house, and at the end help you manage it as well. You
Yeah.
can, go onto our website, haziopm.com. That is our new website, haziopm.com. If you go on there, there's all kind of services that we provide. You can reach out to me directly from the website by filling out the form, and that will come directly to me. Also, if you like to make a call, you want to reach out to me through phone, 765-240-7932. Lastly, if you are a social media guy and you want to reach out to AC Property, we are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can reach us at AC Property Management on all social media platform. And before I go, I want to let you know that whatever you want to do, make sure you do them consistently, because that is where you're going to get the result from. See you guys.
Bye bye.